Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really interesting. These billionaire brain hacks.
Yeah, we've been digging into a discussion from the AI Social Pulse podcast.
Exactly. They had a pretty lively chat. Our goal here is simple. Plug the practical stuff, the mindset shifts you can actually use for your goals, let's say, in 2025.
And what struck me from listening to Alex and Jamie on their show was that it's less about secrets and more about, well, deliberate ways of thinking.
Totally. Intentional habits.
Yeah, they give some good examples.
Okay, so let's kick off with what they call the billionaire morning blueprint. They kind of contrasted the typical morning, maybe grabbing the phone first thing, with these high performers.
Right. They mentioned people like Oprah, who apparently starts with stillness, gratitude.
Yeah, and Tim Cook, who's like hitting the gym super early
hmm
before dawn.
But the point wasn't what they do specifically, was it? It was the intention.
Exactly. Starting the day proactively, it just sets the tone.
And the AI Social Pulse hosts suggested, even 10 minutes could make a difference.
Just 10 minutes of something mindful. They call it a potential game changer for 2025. It's about grabbing that control early.
Which leads nicely into the next idea, this concept of the mind gym.
Yes. Not just muscles, but mental training, too.
The podcast really emphasized that, the continuous learning piece.
They brought up Warren Buffett, right? Reading for hours daily.
Up to 5 hours, yeah. And Elon Musk basically teaching himself rocket science, which is, pretty intense.
It sounds extreme, but the principle behind it isn't really. It's about always growing intellectually.
And the takeaway from AI Social Pulse wasn't, you need to read 5 hours a day.
No, thankfully.
Right. It was more like, start small, be consistent.
Like one article, maybe a podcast episode.
Or one of these deep dive videos, perhaps. That steady mental workout is the key.
I think what resonates there is that you're never really finished learning,
Always something new. Which connects to the third big theme, rewire, reframe, repeat.
This is the neuroplasticity bit, right? The brain's ability to change.
Exactly. And how that applies to dealing with, well, failure or setbacks.
The so-called billionaire mindset doesn't see failure as the end, does it?
Not at all. It's data. It's feedback. Okay, that approach didn't work.
So it becomes, let's iterate, let's try something different.
Analyze, reframe, learn, fuel for the next attempt.
There was that Jeff Bezos quote they mentioned, be stubborn on vision, flexible on details.
Yeah, I like that. Stick to the big goal, but don't be afraid to change how you get there.
So maybe things didn't go perfectly in 2024.
That's just information, right? Lessons learned.
To make 2025 smarter, more strategic.
So if you're listening, this is about really cultivating that growth mindset. Past setbacks, they inform you, they don't define you.
How can you actively reframe a challenge from the past? Turn it into learning for the future.
Good question to ask yourself.
Okay, so maybe a challenge for you as we look towards 2025. Treat your mental space, your head space, with that same kind of intention, like you would your fitness or your work.
Definitely. So the core takeaways from digging into that AI Social Pulse chat seem to be, build those intentional morning routines.
Get that mind gym going with consistent learning.
And fundamentally change how you look at failure. See it as a learning opportunity, a necessary step even.
Absolutely. So the final thought to leave you with is, how else could you apply these ideas beyond just work goals?
Yeah, think about personal habits, relationships maybe. Where could this billionaire brain approach unlock your potential more broadly?
Something to chew on.